Have you ever doom-scrolled so hard you looped back to the beginning? Because before phones, my doom-scrolling was Channel 99 in Tampa, Time Warner Cable, the TV Guide channel, or I guess before TV Guide, it was the preview channel. You could catch the scroll halfway through, realize your channel already passed, and then you just stood there in the glow of the television like, yep, this is where I live now. You got to wait for it to come all the way back around. And the weird part is that thing was not just a dumb video on a loop. It was a computer at the cable company generating a live channel for your neighborhood. Today, I want to unpack how preview worked, how it turned into the TV Guide channel, and why it disappeared. Welcome back to the Tyler Woodward Project. I'm Tyler, and if you've ever wondered why old cable TV felt like it had a secret machinery behind it, well, that's because it kind of actually did. This episode is for people who like nostalgia, but also want what was the actual system behind all of this, kind of answer. I'm going to keep it practical, what it was, how it ran, where the data came from, what broke, and what eventually replaced it. One quick definition up front. An electronic program guide, or EPG, is just a schedule info presented in a way you can browse easily. Today, that's all, of course, interactive. Back then, it could literally be a whole channel that just scrolled forever. The preview guide, and of course, later, the TV Guide channel, was basically a locally generated channel whose job it was to display your whole provider's listings in a continuous loop. Here's the key detail I think that most people missed. The listing data came in via satellite to a computer at your cable company's head end. And that head end system created the on-screen guide for your specific lineup. That's why in Tampa, it could feel a little different than maybe some other city, like New York or Atlanta. Even if the brand looked the same, your lineup was your lineup. Now, for the delightfully retro part, if you will, a lot of these systems were powered by Commodore Amiga computers. Yes, the Amiga. I think that's how I say A-M-I-G-A, Amiga. That's what I'm sticking with. The one your friend's cool older brother talked about back in the day. So if the visual style felt computery, well, that's because it was. And if you ever saw the channel glitch out, well, there's a reason those glitches became core memories. Some systems would crash in ways that exposed the Amiga era screen, including the famous Guru meditation style crash. If you don't know about that one, head over to Google. It's a pretty good read. What this meant for, everyday people, well, it was simple. You were watching a piece of infrastructure, not a show. And that infrastructure had its own failure modes, just like anything else. When it broke, you got a rare peek behind the curtain. Also, the format evolved. Earlier versions were more full-screen listings, and then later you got the split screen kind of experience where listings scrolled while a video ran promos and other previews up top. That change matters because it turned a utility into something you could actually watch. The part of my broadcast engineering brain loves, the part of me that loves this is that this is basically an always-on character generator workflow, except instead of a lower third, it's basically rendering your entire lineup in real time. It had to be readable, timed, and stable for months at a time. That is a very real, keep the thing on the air forever engineering problem. And it is way harder to get that sort of reliability in broadcasting, especially back then, way harder than it looked. So why did, my Channel 99 feel so hypnotic? First, it was continuous browsing with no escape hatch. There was no search button, no jump to 8 o'clock in the evening, no filters. You either waited or you gave up. The waiting was the hook, though. Second, it created a looped promise. If you missed your channel, it would come back around. Well, eventually. And your brain would go, okay, I'll just stay here for one more cycle. Third, the previews were, early recommendations, not just personalized. You got whatever promos, trailers, and ads the channel was serving up in that video window at that time. And sometimes that was more interesting than the listings you originally came to the channel for in the first place. What this means for everybody is that we didn't just suddenly become addicted to scrolling in 2016. No, the behavior is older than your smartphone. The phone, it just made it a little more faster and a little more portable. And if your memory includes some recurring host or, something memorable that just got burned into your brain, I believe you. A lot of people remember specific loops and recurring elements because repetition is what burned this channel into the brain. The channel didn't just vanish overnight. It changed purpose. Preview became the TV Guide channel in 1999 after United Video Satellite Group bought TV Guide. And the guide function slowly became less central over time. That shift makes sense if you think about what was happening in cable. The set-top box guide was getting more capable, and it was more, interactive. You could hit the guide button on your remote, bring up the full guide, move around, go to the channel that you wanted to see, go to the time that you wanted to see, maybe even filter by certain categories. If you wanted to watch sports or if you wanted to watch news, entertainment, you could do that. Once you have an interactive guide, the scrolling channel, it's no longer the fastest way to answer what's on at this very time. It becomes sort of a background. Then it becomes branding. Then it becomes a network trying to justify its own existence. What this means for normal people is that the problem got solved in a different way in a different place. Instead of a whole channel dedicated to TV Guide listings, the listings moved into the box UI and later onto your apps. And, you stopped needing Channel 99 because the guide moved closer to your remote control. All right, let's do a few takeaways that you can keep in your back pocket to maybe quiz your friends on later. 1, preview was local by design. Listing data came in, but the output was generated at the cable company's head end. which is why it matched your provider's lineup instead of some generic national TV guide listing. To the Omega at the cable company thing is not just trivia. It's a reminder that a lot of what we call quote-unquote TV is actually computers doing real-time rendering under uptime pressures. 3. The user experience mattered, even when it was slow. A simple readable scroll can be more usable than some complicated user interface, right up until interactivity becomes fast enough to beat it out. If you only remember one thing, remember this. Channel 99, or whatever your preview/TV guide channel was an always-on locally generated service. It felt like magic because it was infrastructure pretending to be TV. So yeah, doom scrolling existed before phones. Mine just had a channel number and a slower refresh rate. And if you grew up on Time Warner Cable in Tampa, you already know the pain of missing your channel and waiting for the loop like it was a punishment. Visit TylerWoodward.me, follow TylerWoodward.me on Threads or Blue Sky. You can also now reach me on the Matrix chat app. Tyler at zion.tylerwoodward.me. Subscribe and like the show on your favorite podcast platform. Leave a rating or review. I'm told that helps. I don't know if it actually does. I will catch you next week.